Yo, what's up guys? Gecko here, and it is time to rank all of the Gen 5 Pokemon. So starting out with Victini, I love Victini. Victini is super cute, really like unique, fun design. The name is very cute. This is just a really good Pokemon. Snivy, I was never like super on the Snivy train. I do like it, don't get me wrong, but I know like for some people this is like their favorite starter or like their favorite Gen 5 one for sure. And like I'm just like, yeah, it's good. It's just good. I do not like Servine. Really, really do not like this design. It just looks very awkward. The feet are way too thin and tiny for the body. It doesn't look like it would be able to stand up. It looks weird to me. Superior's all right. I wish I liked it more because it's a snake, and obviously I love snakes, but something about the design just doesn't really do it for me. I think it's something about like the facial expression and kind of just like the regalness of it isn't like quite my aesthetic. I don't really love like all the markings on its body and stuff. It's just not really for me. Tepig's cute. Don't love it, but it's just a little pig guy. He's cute. I like Pignite a lot more. Not enough to put it in A, I would say, but I do like this design actually. I feel like this is one of the middle stages that people say is really bad and most people don't like it. I actually think this is a really good design. It's a nice step up to where it still looks like Tepig. There is that through line, but it has kind of like the wrestling gear on. I think is a good design, honestly. Emboar, I have come around to. I have come around to this Pokemon. I absolutely hated this Pokemon for a long time. I can see the merit in it now. I still think it's over designed. That's my biggest gripe with it. There's way too much going on, too many colors, too many patterns. They could simplify it down a little bit. But for what it is a pretty cool Pokemon. The typing is stupid though, and I'm gonna stand by that. This should not have been a firefighting type. Oshawott is cute. He's just a cute little otter guy. Duat is also very cool. I really love the samurai route they go, and it's got like the shells at its side, almost like they're sheathed weapons. I think that is super fun. This is a very Pokemon, if that makes sense. Like having an otter that uses shells as weapons and sheaths them at its side is just like such a Pokemon concept to do because it's such a mix of like goofy, but it also makes it cool, even though it's a goofy concept. Samurott is so sick. Samurott is such a sick design. Now, this one gets a lot of hate for not really, like, it doesn't feel like it follows the through line, right? The fact that it gets down on all fours doesn't really fit, like, the samurai theming. It should really stay standing so that it can, like, wield a sword or whatever. So I get that, and I do agree with that. I think that there could have been more continuity with the evolution line overall. But for this, what this Pokemon is, and just like the design on its own, the concept on its own, it is so badass. I absolutely love Samurott. Patrat's fine. It's fine. There's not really much to say about it. It's a pretty bland Pokemon. I don't like Watchog's design. It's too tall and thin. That's my thing. I just wish the proportions were a little different. Because I actually don't mind the design. I don't mind like the big kind of crazy looking eyes and the yellow stripes on the body. I don't mind the design elements that are there. The proportions just make it look weird to me. Lillipup is adorable, dude. Who doesn't love Lillipup? Such a cute Pokemon. Look at this little face. I love Lillipup. Herdier, also very good. I mean, it's a doggo. Is a good boy. We stand Herdier. Stoutland I'm not as fond of just because like there's too much. Like these enormous fur mustache pieces it has coming down, the whole body being engulfed in fur now. It's like, it's too much for me. They took it a little bit too far. But it is still a doggo, so I don't dislike it. I really enjoy Purloin. I do not want it to stand up though. In my headcanon, this thing doesn't stand on two legs. It should have always been on all fours. That's how it is in its original sprite here. So to me, that's how I think of Purloin, and I do really like the design of it. Liepard is very cool. I really enjoy Liepard. This was one that like I always liked, but I've come to like it even more over the years. I think that the color scheme is super nice. Really cool to get a dark type that isn't just black. Like not all of them are, but a lot of them are either black or like very darkly colored. And this one, like it is a dark purple, but I just like that it looks different. It has a very different color scheme than other dark types have, especially with that yellow, like the bright belly and stripes that it, or not stripes, the bright spots that it has. The tail shape is also really cool. It's just a really cool Pokemon. Oh, now we get to the monkeys. The monkeys. So I actually don't mind Pansage and Simisage, and that's partly just me loving grass types. But I just think that these aesthetically look nicer than the others, in my opinion. Panseer is like fine, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like this one as much. I don't like the hairdo, the big curly puff of hair on its head. I'm not as into this one. Simisear sucks. This is a trash design, man. It's so crazy that Gen 4 we got Infernape, which is like probably the coolest monkey Pokemon in the whole series. And then the next time, the next generation, they make this shit. They do another fire monkey, and it's like, this is like bootleg Infernape. Like, what were they doing here? And then Simipour, I don't really like this. I'm trying to decide if it's actually down here or if it's just up in C, but I don't know. I don't like the shape of the thing on its head. It looks very strange. I get what they were going for, as sort of like a fountain spray kind of look, but I think they could have made it look a little more like that, a little more spray-like instead of just like it's kind of this like crown of bubbles almost. It just looks a little weird to me. And then I really, really don't like Simipour. I just don't like this. Mana is very cute. This is a cute little Pokemon. I enjoy Mana. Honestly, I think I would bump this up actually. This is a super cute design. And then I'd probably put Masharna like here. I really like it conceptually. I like the, mist coming out of it and kind of curving back over it. It looks very nice. But I don't really love the design of the creature itself. Like the actual Pokemon is like kind of meh. Mana definitely does it more for me. P-Dove is cute. It's a pigeon. I like pigeons. Pigeons are fun. And then Tranquil's just so blah. Like it gets away with it in the first stage because the first stage is always very simple. It's meant to just be like the baby stage that's going to evolve into something greater. But Tranquil is a very, very bland middle stage bird. And then Unpheasant, like both forms are down here. Like, I just don't like them. I especially don't like the male one that has like, I don't like the way the mask like trails off of it and it's got like these tendrils coming off its face. But yeah, just overall, I don't like Unpheasant at all. Blitzel's cute. These are like almost the same thing. Their designs are very similar. I really like the lightning bolt shaped hair that Blitzel has. Well, not hair, but it's like the mane is lightning shaped. So I guess it would be hair. Zebstrika, I don't like as much that it has like two of them. I think it looked better with just one in the middle. But again, they're very similar designs, so I'll put them in the same spot. Roggenrola, this one's really fun. This is such a unique looking Pokemon, which I appreciate a lot because like a lot of rock types are just like creatures made of rock. And this one is, but like it's very unique. It has some very unique features with like the ear right in the middle of the face and then kind of the like rock antenna, I guess it's supposed to be. It just looks very unique from other rock Pokemon. Boulder's pretty cool too. It's almost like a rock spider, which I like. It is still just kind of a rock golem-esque creature, but the way they have the legs and kind of the spikes on the face, it almost looks like an insect of some kind. At least to me, that's how I've always seen it. So it looks really cool. Again, just like a unique take on the rock type, which was very much needed. And then Gigalith is sick. I also really enjoy this Pokemon. The shiny is so good, dude. Like one of my favorite shinies. That doesn't affect the placement here because we're just ranking the Pokemon as they are in their base form. But I just wanted to throw that in because it's really fucking good. But yeah, again, just really, really cool take. I love the red, spikes or kind of crystal-like structures coming out of its body. Woobat and Swoobat. Woobat is cute. It's just a little guy. Yeah, I feel like we're starting to put a lot in B. A lot of Unova Pokemon are like this for me, where it's like, I'm not like in love with most Unova Pokemon. Most of them I won't gush about like I did for Samurott, but like, I like them decent enough. They're just like, yeah, they're pretty good designs. And then Swoobat. Swoobat, I'm not as into. Kainem's Nuzlocke comic made me love Mimi and like appreciate the evolution line a lot more. That aside, like just the Pokemon on its own is kind of mid for me. And I don't like the tail being like two separate tails twisted together. Like that's a little weird to me. I never really liked that part of it. Drillbur's cute. It's a perfectly serviceable Pokemon, just a little mole guy. Excadrill, though, is sick. This is one of my favorite Gen 5 Pokemon. It's such a good upgrade from Drillbur, because, like, Drillbur functions perfectly fine. It's like a little mole, and the claws are, like, huge and exaggerated, and that's really fun, and that works really well as a ground-type Pokemon. But then taking it a step further, where it's actually got, like, these, like, saw-like spikes on its claws now it looks so badass. And then also the way that the markings are on the body, like I know they're not actually wounds, but it has always looked to me like they're like scratch marks or like battle scars of some kind. So this is just like a badass Pokemon all around. Audino is super cute. I really love Audino. It's such a friend. I love the little ears with the curly cues by them, and just like the proportions of the body. It's just like a chunky little friend. I love this Pokemon. Timber, this whole evolution line has the problem of like it's carrying an object that isn't really part of its body. So is it like when they're born, they just find a stick immediately? Is it still a timber if it doesn't have the weapon? Like, I don't know. That's a whole other like issue I have with some of these Pokemon concepts. There are a few others like that, like Farfetch'd. But just going off of the design itself, this is still like a C for me. Again, it's very humanoid, not my thing. And they don't really do anything to make it, look animal-like or monster-like, like it's something you would actually catch. Like it kind of just looks like a humanoid guy. And then it's like it's even worse with Girder. Like this is honestly down here. I hate the like clown hair it has, but it's not even hair because it's the same color as its flesh. It just like has this big lumpy head. I hate that part of it. And then the big clown nose is weird. I don't know why it looks like a clown. I don't know why it has that. And then Conkeldurr goes back up to here for me. It still has the humanoid issue, but I do really like the big, like it has big concrete pillars. I think it's just like a really funny idea that it's like carrying these around and it's gonna smack you with concrete pillars because like that would fucking kill a person. But it's like even like Pokemon too, they're just like getting smacked around by stone pillars by this guy. But yeah, again, like I don't love the design of the Pokemon itself, but it's perfectly serviceable. Whereas like with Girder, I just don't like what they did with it at all. Tympole is cute, but there's really not much going on with it. This is a C for me. I do like Palpitoad a bit more. I don't think it's enough to go in C, honestly. I do like it more than Tympole, though. I really like the aesthetic of it not having arms, because it makes it so derpy that it has to, like, flop around without arms or anything. It's a very goofy Pokemon. And then Seismitoad is, like, fine also. It's, like, meh. This whole line is, like, they're fine. I'm not going to put them lower, because, like, there's nothing wrong with them, per se, but they're just, like, not particularly interesting to me. Like, this is just a bipedal frog. And yes, it's got, like, the noise-making, like, pimples on it. I don't know what the fuck these are supposed to be. These, I guess, warts on it, like it's a toad. It's kind of just a frog. Like, there's not really much going on. Sock and Throw, I'm torn on these, because these have the issue of wearing clothing. Or I guess maybe it's supposed to be... No, this is definitely clothing. I always try to convince myself that it's, like, part of the body. Like, oh, maybe their skin is just, like, colored to look like clothes, but it's actually just part of the body. But, like, the belt is, like, hanging off of there. Like, that's definitely, like, a separate belt that it's wearing. It's definitely wearing clothes. But I don't actually hate these. I mean, I think I would put them up here. I like the idea of them being Oni, or they're based on Oni. So that, like, makes it enough of, like, a monster for me. Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to move these down. Now that I, like, think about it, I'm like, actually, these don't belong next to the other stuff in B tier. These are just meh. I really, really wish they had made them more Oni-like. Like, they had given them maybe some little horns or just, like, something else with the face that looks a little bit more Oni-like and makes them look more like monsters. I would definitely like them more if they did that. Okay, so Waddle is so freaking cute, man. I love this little bug dude. The name is cute and the design is cute. I love this little guy. Swadloon is also cute. Honestly, I'd still put this up here. I love the way it's just wrapped up in leaves. It's just a cute little guy. And then Leavanny is not for me. I don't really like this design. I'm fine with a praying mantis Pokemon. I mean, we already have Scyther. Scyther is super badass. So I appreciate like a new take where it is a little bit more dainty, looks a little bit less dangerous, and it's more actually leaf-based. I'm fine with that new approach. I just don't really like how they did it, especially the face. The face is just like a round head with a very generic smile, like just like dot eyes on a smiley face. Like I wish it was a little bit more buggy. That would make me like it more. Okay, this design though, they killed it with this evolution line. So Venipede is like a B for me. Really love the color scheme. The colors look super good on it. Really gets across kind of that toxic, kind of it's a venomous animal. It has like these bright colors. I guess usually poisonous animals would be brightly colored, but it makes it feel like a poison type is what I'm getting at. And then Whirlipede, dude, this used to be one of my favorite Pokemon, just like in general. I just fucking love Whirlipede. Absolutely one of my favorite bug types for sure. Just an amazing Pokemon overall. Scolipede too, like they killed it with this line. This is such a good evolution line. And I hate centipedes in real life. They freak me the fuck out. But these are just such cool creature designs. Like Whirlipede, I love how kind of mysterious it is that you don't see the full body. It just stays curled up and there's like the eye looking out at you. I love that. And then Scolipede is almost like horse-like kind of. It's like an insect horse, which is so cool to me. I love how it has like antennae that kind of look like horns and then coming out the back too. It looks very fierce. And then it's got it, rather than like actually giving it a bunch of legs, which would kind of look awkward when it's animated, they have just kind of the, spiky parts coming down its neck that kind of like get across that idea of like, yeah, all like the body segments that would have limbs coming off of them. Not actually legs in this case, but it's just such a good design choice. Then Cottony is a pretty meh Pokemon. It's a cotton ball, which is a cute idea, but there's really not much going on with the design. Whimsicott is cute. I do like this a bit more. This was a really fun direction to take it. It's like sheep-esque, but also kind of just like a little sprite, which is such a good idea for this Pokemon. Combining like, the fluffiness of like, it looks like a sheep because it's so fluffy and poofy, but then it's also kind of like a little nature fairy because it's a little cotton creature. Really good blending of ideas. Petalil is, honestly, I don't think it belongs all the way down at F. I'll move it up to D, but this is just, I don't know. There's nothing interesting going on here, and I don't even really know what they're getting at. And then Lilligant is not my cup of tea. It's definitely a good design. It looks very pretty, especially the flower on the head, but it's just not for me. I actually enjoy Basculin. I don't know how most people feel about this Pokemon. It feels like it's one of just the forgotten fish, as most fish Pokemon are. But I think the design is very cool. I like how tough it looks. I like kind of the underbite jaw that looks very fierce. I like how spiky the fins are. Really cool Pokemon. I love Sandile. Of course I do. It's not surprising, but I love Sandile so much. Such a cutie pie. I want this as a pet. And I love how in the new games in Gen 9, they are like under the sand in the desert and you just see their little eyes peeking up and it's like, what the heck is that? And then they start moving at you and it's like, it's a little crocodile in the sand. It is so adorable. And then like Krokorok, also sick. Just put this whole line up here. This whole line is going to be up in S. This evolution line is fantastic. It goes from one of the most adorable Pokemon in existence to super, super cool. Like when it stands up and then it's got like the cool guy pose and it looks like it's wearing shades because of the markings on it. And then like Crocodile's stance where it's got like its claws bared at you is so awesome. I love this evolution line. I also love Darumaka. This is such a pleasing design. I love how perfectly round the body is. And then it's just got like these silly little hands and feet. And it's got like these big fiery eyebrows. It's very fun. Also really, really cool inspiration too. I think what honestly I would have loved to see them do is like, it would probably look a little weird and off-putting, but it would be so cool if Darumaka didn't have a pupil in one of its eyes, and then when it evolves, like Darmanitan will have both to get more of the Daruma inspiration in there. I think that would have been super cool. But that's not a criticism at all, because the design they did come up with is great, and I love this Pokemon. But just a thought I've had about it before. Darmanitan is also sick. Really cool Pokemon. I'm not personally like a huge monkey person. I've never been that into primates in comparison to other like families of animals. But I really appreciate about this one that it still comes across as very gorilla-like, the way that it stands on its knuckles, and it just kind of has that vibe. But it's not just literally a gorilla. They kind of put a new spin on it. It still looks like it has that Daruma inspiration. It looks like a through line from Darumaka to here. It follows very well. But it just looks so menacing. And I love the big smile and I love the big fiery eyes. This is just a great Pokemon design. I mean, this is still Darmanitan, but if we're going to rank the other form for it, like this one would be, I don't know, this one would be down here. I don't feel that strongly about it, but you rarely see it in this form anyway. Maractus is fun. Once I understood the inspiration for it more, I appreciated it more. I feel like a fucking moron that I didn't understand it immediately, because like, maracas in the name, and I just like didn't realize that it's a maraca cactus. So that is completely 100% on me. But now that I do realize the very obvious pun, maybe it's not as obvious as I think. I don't know. Let me know if you knew that the first time you heard the name or not. This is a really cute design. It's very fun. I love the little pink flowers on the like ears or antenna that it has on its head. It's a nice little pop of color. This is a really cute Pokemon. Dwebbles, also adorable. I'm gonna put this little guy. Actually, this probably belongs in B. It's really cute. It's a hermit crab, and I love the way that the eyes still look very crab-like. I like that they didn't shy away from that, because some people find like the eye stalks with the big bulbous eyes on the end kind of creepy and off-putting. But I think they did it in a really cute way with this Pokemon, and it still looks very much like a hermit crab. And then the evolution, Crustals, I guess still B, but like really low B. I could see this being somewhere in between B and C because I love the concept. The concept is really fun, and I like that we see the different segmentations of the rock. Like it has a chunk of Earth's crust on its back. I'm definitely on board with that. I just don't really love the design for the crab part itself. Doesn't really do it for me, but I'll leave it up in B just for the concept. Scraggy's so cute, dude. What a cute Pokemon. What a funny little guy. I love the facial expression. I love how huge the eyes are. And the fact that it has to like hold up its skin pants is so funny to me that it's always like falling down and he has to pull them up again. Really goofy Pokemon. Scrafty's also up here. I personally prefer Scraggy just a little bit more, but I think that this is a really fun direction to take it where it has more of a punk look to it with like the mohawk scales on its head. Just a really fun Pokemon line. I love Sigilif. I feel like this is like very either like forgotten or just like Pokemon, like kind of like a why did they make this, why does it exist kind of Pokemon. But I think the design is so sick. It is so incredibly unique. Doesn't look like any other Pokemon that exists. The colors are just stunning and well done. Like it's not too much, it's not overwhelming to look at, but there's a lot going on and it's really cool. Also really cool inspiration too to like take the Nazca lines and actually make a creature out of it. This is just such a cool Pokemon. Why don't more people like Sigilif? Yamask is a great Pokemon. Just great concept. I like that it toes the line. It kind of like pushes the boundary a little bit of like what you can get away with in Pokemon. Because it's very messed up that they like were humans. They're just ghosts of people who have died and they're holding their own faces, which is really fucked up when you say it out loud. It's like, wow, that doesn't sound like something that would be in a kid's game. But it's like done in a way where it works. Like it feels like it fits into the world. But when you read the Pokedex entry about it, you're like, oh, this is a little dark. And then Cofagrigus is so sick. Such a fucking cool design, man. I just am blown away by this design. Every time I see it, I'm like, what a good idea. Like, how did they not do this sooner? Just the ghostly hands is what does it for me. The fact that it has 4 of them makes it more like eerie and freaky. And the fact that they're just these huge shadow hands coming out of it that you can't even like see what the actual body inside the sarcophagus is so creepy. Like, this is how you do a ghost type. Tortuga's fine. I mean, it's a turtle, so like turtles are cute. We like turtles. But it's a very boring design in my opinion. There's really not much going on here. And then Caracosta, I do appreciate that they did something more with it. I like that it looks armored up. Like the shell is also like, you know, partly on the front, which is true for turtles too. But you know, in Tortuga's design, it's kind of just a plate on the back, and I like that it kind of comes around like armor now. But it's something, I don't know what it is, like something about Caracosta's design, I don't know what it is. I will have to like think about this one a little bit more. But yeah, something about the design I've never really cared for very much. It's just like not an enticing Pokemon to me. I love Arkin. Arkin is so cute. He's such a little guy. And I love that there's an Archaeopteryx Pokemon because Archaeopteryx is super cool. And they made it look so cute in this design. And then like Archeops is also sick. Such a good Pokemon. I could even see bumping this up to S maybe. I'll leave it here for now, but like, yeah, I really like this Pokemon. High A for sure. Trubbish is cute. I don't want to hear any hate for Trubbish. Trubbish is a great design. I love its little face. I love the big teeth sticking out. This is a fun little guy. Garbodor, on the other hand, sucks. This for me is like where the design goes south. The first stage is fine. I honestly really like the first stage. But this is just a mess. There's like no cohesion to this design. It's a haphazard mess of things. I don't know why it has antenna puffballs on its head. I just don't know what they were going for here. And like maybe the point is that it is super haphazard because it's trash, so there is kind of just stuff stuffed everywhere. Like I get if that's the concept they're going for, but that doesn't mean that it looks good. Zorua, great, fantastic design. Who doesn't love this Pokemon? Zoroark, so sick, so sick. Absolutely one of the best Gen 5 Pokemon. Its gimmick is extremely cool. Was not like any Pokemon we had before. Like it's not quite the same as Ditto. Like Ditto's a similar concept, but I really like how they did this, where it actually tricks you into thinking it's something else instead of just the ability to change into anything. Really fun to go with kind of this trickster fox-esque Pokemon, and the design is just fantastic. Mincino and Cincino, or is it Cinchino? I've never known how to say it, but anyway, Mincino's very cute. I like this little friend. I love how big and kind of like fluffy and scruffy the tail is. This is a cute little guy. And then Cincino, I don't really care for the aesthetic of it, like wearing like a scarf. I don't know, just that's not for me. It's not my thing. I also, this does not affect my placement of it, but I have a little bit of a grudge against this Pokemon because this is the Pokemon that made me lose the Pokemon spelling bee at a convention I went to. I got second place because of this motherfucker. That fucking other C in its name. So that doesn't affect its placement, but I do have a little bit of a grudge on this Pokemon. Gothita is just, I don't know. It's like too human for me. I don't know. I don't like this one. Well, the others are even more humanoid, honestly. Well, I don't know. I don't know that it deserves to be down here. Does it? I don't know. I guess these will go here. I just don't like how human these are. That's really all it comes down to. It looks like I caught a human child for my team. I don't like that. Gothitelle I like a little more just because like I think the aesthetic works and it looks, I mean it's still very humanoid. It is very much humanoid, but something about it looks more like a monster to me. Like it doesn't feel as weird. Yeah, but it's definitely not really my aesthetic overall, which is why it's in C. I just think that it's better than its evolutions design-wise, but still not really my cup of tea. Solisys is super cute. It's just a little guy, just a little cell. I love the like diamond-shaped mouth. It's very like weird, but it works because it is kind of an alien-looking Pokemon. It is kind of it's just like one little cell, one little guy. And then Duosion, I don't really like the shapes as much. I don't like that it gets the bumps on the outside of the sphere that it's sitting inside of. I know they had to make it a little different, like it's supposed to look distinct, so I don't fault it for that. I just don't really like it as much. Actually, honestly, I would move the... Why did I put this up in B? I really don't like this at all. Yeah, I think I would actually put this down here. I am not a fan of this. And then Reuniclus I also really like. It's so goofy. I don't know exactly what the arms are, but I like how they look. It looks like a little alien baby. Ducklet is like perfectly fine, I guess. It's just a blue duck. It's not one of the more interesting duck Pokemon in my opinion, but it's fine. Swana's also pretty generic. I do like the concept. I like having an ugly duckling Pokemon, but it's pretty bland overall. Okay, so now we get to the ice cream Pokemon. Controversially, I actually kind of like Vanillite. Because the thing is, it's not literally ice cream. It's made of snow. And so a Pokemon, like, taking on that appearance is really fun to me. I don't know what purpose it serves, because, like, people would try to eat it if they thought it was ice cream. But I don't know. I just think it's cute. The evolutions, though, are just not good. Like, this isn't a concept that needed a full 3-stage evolution line. There's really nothing more to do with it. It was an ice cream cone, then it's in a dish, then it's 2 scoops in a dish. Like, that's not enough of a concept to make a whole Pokemon around. So these were really unnecessary. Okay, Deerling is very cute. I enjoy this Pokemon a lot. I really love the seasonal differences. That is such a fun, not really, maybe gimmick. Maybe gimmick's the right word, but that's just like, it's such a fun gimmick for the Pokemon where its appearance will change over the course of the year. It fits really well, too, with the typing where it's part grass, and so it changes with the seasons. Salzbuck I'd probably put in B because there are some forms that I really love and others that like I'm not as fond of in terms of the seasonal designs. But again, I really like it conceptually. So this is a solid line. Emolga's super cute. Put this up in A. This is one of the best Pika clones. I think I said this in another video, but I find Pika clones very, very redundant. I really wish they would stop making them. We really don't need Pika clones. But for the ones that exist, this is one of the best ones in my opinion. Oh, Carablast is stupid. Fuck this thing. Like, I don't know. I guess I'll put it in D because the design is kind of fun. I like the color scheme. But why does this exist? Escavalier is pretty cool. I'll put this, I think it's like C. It's fine. It's a little awkward to me, like how it moves. I guess it like levitates, which I don't know how it can do that. The idea is fun, but it's just not really, I don't know. Something about the design just doesn't vibe with me. Fungus is very cute. This is a very cute Pokemon. I like the Pokeball imitation on top, and then it just like has this cute little face underneath. Among Us is mostly going to go up here for its use in competitive because I fucking love using this thing. The design I don't like as much as Fungus. Like Fungus is much cuter, but this is just a good Pokemon. Oh boy, now we have Frillish. I do not like this. I don't like it. It's very humanoid. Again, it's a humanoid thing. I don't like it. I don't like how it looks. Jellicent. See, it doesn't have, I don't think it has the other forms. I hate this form. This form's fucking weird. The Pringles man is where it's at. If we're rating the Pringles man form, I'd put that one like up in the C. It just looks way better to me. Alomomola is such a useless Pokemon. Why does this exist? Like, why did they make this? Joltik is so cute. He's so cute. I fucking love this little guy. Put this up in S. This is such a freaking adorable Pokemon. I love the little mouth it has, and then I love that it has 4 eyes, and it's so fluffy. This is such a good bug. And then Galvantula is also sick. I'll put this up in A. Great design. It's such a good balance, at least to me. Maybe I have a skewed perspective because I love spiders. I'd love to hear from someone who's afraid of them. I think it's a really nice balance of cute and cool because people are scared of spiders, but I feel like they made the face endearing. Like it has these big, glossy, innocent-looking eyes. I think the face is pretty cute, but then it still very much does look like a spider, and it does have the cool vibes with the kind of spiky edge to its fur. So I would, if you're afraid of spiders, I would love to hear what you think of Galvantula. Because, you know, for me, I'm afraid of centipedes, but I really like Scolipede. That one looks a little bit less like its inspiration than Galvantula does, but I'm just curious what people think of this Pokemon. Ferroseed is like, whatever. This is another why does it exist Pokemon. It's very boring. Ferrothorn, I do like this Pokemon, but I mostly like it for competitive. Which I also said for Amoonguss, but Amoonguss I still was partly basing the placement on design as well. I do like it. This one, I don't really like the design. So I do love it in competitive. It's cool that it's very useful. It's a really, really unique Pokemon. So I give it points for a unique design. But I can't put it any higher than C because I just don't really enjoy how it looks. I wouldn't really want one of these on my team. Oh, these Pokemon fucking suck. Just put these down here. These fucking suck. Okay, so to start with, it was not that good a concept in the first place. You needed more than just, oh, it's a sentient gear. Actually, it's 2 sentient gears put together. Here, there are layers here, okay? So it was a weak concept to start with. So it's a weak first design just because there's nothing going on. It's just 2 gears put together. And then they only added other pieces in the evolutions. It doesn't really evolve the concept. It's just like, oh, let's stick another gear on it. Like the evolution will just have more parts stuck onto it. And then on top of that, even if that's the concept they were going to go with for this evolution line, they could have sprited it differently to make it feel unique. But they literally just copy-pasted Clink and then added the part behind it, and then they copy-pasted and added more parts onto it. It's in the exact same fucking pose that if you look at Kling Klang's design here, you see the first form in the design here. It's the same ass thing all the way through. It is so lazy, and I said no hate to the designers, and I mean it. I'm not trying to shit on anybody who is just doing their job, but I genuinely want to punch whoever okayed this to be in the game. Okay, Tynamo is like a B for me, because, oh, how'd you get up there? B. So this is a very cute Pokemon, but this is one where it really, really needed the evolutions. There's not really much to say about the baby form. It's kind of just there, but it is pretty cute, so I will put it in B. Electric, also a B for me. It does get more interesting, especially with the color scheme. That really adds a lot to it for me, but there's not a whole lot here yet. It's really the next stage that is the best for me, because Electros is an A. At another point in time, I might have put it in S. It would be like a high A for me. I think this is such a cool Pokemon. I really love the, like, what I guess fin, like coming off the back of its head, this long fin, and then the big clawed hands. It's such a cool design. This is like one of the things I love about Pokemon, are kind of like the archetype I love, where it does have kind of an animal inspiration, but they still make it look like a monster, you know? Like it's not just literally an eel like its previous form where it doesn't have limbs, it's just an eel. But it's like, okay, we can take the concept of an eel and make a very eel-like Pokemon, but it still has like big clawed hands because it is just a monster as well. I love when they do stuff like that. All right, Elhiam and Behem are just, I don't know. I'm not on board with this concept. I'm fine with an alien themed or based Pokemon. That is fine, but I just don't think they did something very interesting with it. I know they were kind of going for like, what people think they see when they see aliens, kind of that like humanoid, big-headed alien figure. So again, like I get it. I get why they designed it like this, but I just don't think that it works. Like it doesn't work with Pokemon in my opinion. Litwick is cute, but I think I'll put it in C because like I don't know. Over the years, I used to love this Pokemon, and over the years, I'm like, now that I look at it, it's like not super interesting to me. It is kind of just a candle with a face, which isn't bad per se. But yeah, I just don't appreciate it as much as I used to when I was younger. Lampent is also just kind of fine. I definitely think that this was an unnecessary middle evolution, or at the very least, I wish that like a little bit of a candle was visible in the lamp, or maybe that wouldn't look good. I don't know. I'd have to see that, but like it just feels like it doesn't follow through, if that makes sense. Like the candle and then a chandelier has multiple candles affixed to it. Like that makes sense to me, but the lantern doesn't look like a candle lantern, if that makes sense. Or maybe there are candle lanterns that look exactly like this, and I just haven't seen them before. So that might be a me thing, but it just doesn't feel as connected to the evolution line to me. Chandelier is fantastic, dude. Doesn't everybody love this Pokemon? Chandelier is so sick. To me, I think of this as like the OG animated object Pokemon. Like there were other object Pokemon before, but to me, this is like the pinnacle of like, if you're gonna make object Pokemon, like this is the way to do it because it still very much feels like a creature that could exist. Ghosts possess things a lot, and so the ghost typing is a really good way to make an object Pokemon, in my opinion. Because possessing things is just what they do. Like you kind of can make anything possessed by a ghost, but to do it with a candle, which is already like an icon in horror stories or just kind of like creepy atmospheres. A lot of times you'll have old mansions and haunted houses that have chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. Like it's already kind of associated with that vibe in the first place. So to just make it a haunted chandelier that has the blue fire just works so well. Axu's super cute. Love this little guy. Such a little friend. Honestly, Fraxier and Haxorus are both S. I'm just going to put both of them up here. These are so badass, dude. Like putting an axe on the dinosaur. It's a big armored dinosaur with an axe on its face. Like that's so sick. That is like something a little kid would like dream up and draw in their little stories, but they actually made it a real Pokemon. It's so perfect. All right, Cubchoo is a little cutie pie. I enjoy this guy. Very cute design. Maybe actually, I think I'm gonna bump it down to B. I don't like it as much as the others that are up in A. I'm not like in love with it, but it is very cute. Beartic is also gonna go here. I do like how fierce it is. Yeah, that's really the main thing. Like it just looks like a big fierce polar bear, which is very fitting for that animal. But there's nothing exceptional about the design. Okay, this is super controversial. I love Cryogonal. This Pokemon is sick, and I don't care what anybody says. What I like about it is that it has like ghost type vibes, even though it's not a ghost type. It feels like a, haunted, it feels like kind of like a snow spirit to me because it has these like glowing eyes and its body is like, I assume made of ice, but it's kind of just like this floating like object. Like it doesn't really look like an animal. It's just kind of this floating spirit of ice in the mountains, and it's got these glowing eyes. The shiny is also super sick. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just think Cryogonal is really cool. Shelmet is a B, I guess. I really love the helmet looking shell that opens. That's a really really fun idea for a bug type. I just don't like the lips. That's my biggest thing. That's why I'm not gonna put it higher. I don't like the lips on it. Excelgor's fine. The speed racer kind of aesthetic is fine. It's a fun idea, but it's kind of meh in design. I do like the like scarf, I guess it is, coming off of its body. But I honestly wish there was more going on with the bottom half because it kind of just tapers off and its body just like sits on the ground. It doesn't have any legs. It doesn't have any mode of locomotion. So like it's such a fast Pokemon, but I don't know how it actually moves, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't look like it would be fast because it doesn't have legs. So I wish there was something else there. Stunfisk, dude. Okay, this is one of those that you love it because everybody hates it. And it's not this one for me is not like I'm protective, like, oh, everybody hates it, so I'm gonna like it because somebody has to love it. It's not that. It's that people get so mad at this design and hate the Pokemon just for existing that it is funny to me. It's so fucking funny how much people hate Stunfisk that I kind of love it. It's just like the most troll Pokemon. Bienfu's cool. I really, really appreciate like karate, not specifically karate. I really appreciate martial arts animals. Like that's just works for fighting type Pokemon. Same with the evolution. I like that it looks a little more elegant. It's got kind of it looks like it has sleeves over its hands. So I like the added design elements here too. Druddigon is really cool. I feel like this is another one that kind of gets hate, or a lot of people think it's one of the weakest designs for a dragon Pokemon. And I can see that too. Like, I definitely think there are better dragon Pokemon out there. But for what it is, I think this is a pretty cool design. I like how rocky and savage it looks. Golet's like this is probably a B. This is a very cool design, very cool way to do a Golem Pokemon. Again, it kind of, for me, like toes that line of like being humanoid, but it still looks like enough of a creature that I would like find in the world and train as a companion more than just like finding a human being out in the wild, if that makes sense. And then Golurk is probably like an A for me. Really, really cool like color scheme and just the markings on it make it feel very like ancient. It's kind of like this ancient golem that probably, existed in ancient civilizations. At least that's like the vibe that it gives me. It's also hilarious that it can learn fly. Just like random side note, but that part of it amuses me. Just a really cool Pokemon. All right, then we have Pawniard and Bisharp. I was never super into these. Pawniard, I just don't really like the design. I think it looks awkward. Bisharp is a bit better. I like what they did with this design, but again, it's not really my aesthetic. Bouffalant, this is kind of a boring Pokemon. I don't have strong feelings about it. The idea is very funny. Like, I don't mind slapping that hairdo on a buffalo. It is a very funny idea, but the design is pretty boring. Rufflet is so cute. This is one of my favorite birds. It's so fluffy. I just love the poofy feathers around its face, and then the one feather in the middle. This is just a cute little guy. Braviary is so sick. So sick. One of the coolest bird Pokemon. I love the mane of feathers around its head, and then the color scheme. It's kind of references America, and I get that that's what they're going for, but I like that they kind of I don't know if muted is the right word, but like they altered the colors a little bit to be kind of like darker and more muted than just like bright, like red, white, and blue, like in your face. It's a little more subtle, and I appreciate that about it. Vullaby is fine, I guess. I don't really like its face. That's the main thing. I don't really love how it looks, the bird itself, but the fact that it's wearing a skull is very like funny and messed up at the same time, and I really appreciate when they do stuff like that. I really like Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz is very cool. I think this is a very underrated bird Pokemon that a lot of people forget about or just don't really care for. But having a vulture is sick because vultures are very cool, very underrated birds in the real world. And then having the bone aesthetic to it just works so well with what vultures do. This is just a good Pokemon. Heatmore, I don't know. I want to like this Pokemon. I like the idea of it having like a fire tongue. The concept is fun, but the design is just so fucking weird. And like you can't even see it in the sprite here, but in the 3D games, like if you see the back of the model, it has these like weird haphazard, I don't even know what they are. Like the color of the head, kind of that brownish color. It's got like markings. They're not even markings, they're like chunks. It like comes off the body. It has like these chunks of something like coming up its back, but it's not in a set pattern. It's just kind of like haphazard. It looks very weird, and I don't know why they did that. If that wasn't there, the design would still not be like super interesting or great, but that part just really throws me off. Durant is a C, I guess. It truly just looks like an ant that's made of metal. So it's fine, I guess, but I think it's not super creative. Dino, I'm gonna put. Where do you go, little guy? Probably A. This guy's cute. Zweilous, I'm trying to think. Would this also be A, or would I move this down? Yeah, this is also probably A. Really cool concept. I like that it sprouts a second head. The names are really fun. And I also just like the aesthetic of like the fur covering its eyes. It also makes it feel more mysterious and dark type. Hydreigon is super sick. I think I would like it just a bit more if the heads were actually heads, because it is just like its arms and its hands look like faces. At least I'm pretty sure. Doesn't it say that somewhere? I'm pretty sure they're just hands. I kind of wish it became an actual three-headed dragon. But on the other hand, I do think that's a really creative way to do it, to like, again, not mess with the logistics of like Dodrio, like how does it have three, brains or consciousnesses at once. That is kind of a creative way to do it where they're not actually heads. So I guess I actually don't hate that part as much now that I think about it. But something about the design just holds it back from being an S for me. I think maybe the legs too. The legs are just kind of like tattered. I wish it still had actual legs. So there are just a few design choices where I'm like, it's not my favorite dragon type they've ever made, but it's really fucking cool. I mean, look at it. Larvesta is like a bee. Very unique looking bug. I like the little like sun rays, I guess, coming out of it. Really unique design. Volcarona is super cool. I think when I put this in B or A, probably B, I think. I do really like the design. I'm just not like in love with it. It probably doesn't help that Slitherwing exists now, which I am in love with. So it's hard not to compare it to that. But this is a really, really cool Pokemon. A very unique bug. Again, like I said for Larvesta, also really unique. We've had a lot of winged bugs. We've had a lot of like moth and butterfly inspired bugs. But this one just really stands out. They managed to still make something new and fresh, which is cool. All right, now we're heading into the legendaries. So starting off with Cobalion, I'm not super into this design. I used to like Cobalion a lot more. It kind of just looks awkward to me now. I think it's partly the feet. The way it looks like it's wearing boots is just kind of awkward to me. I get why. I get the inspiration. It's just like I don't love how that looks on the design. Terrakion is sick. I love this Pokemon. Super, super cool. I love the giant horns it has, the expression. It just looks very menacing. Virizion is very nice. I love how elegant it is. I really like the color scheme and like the way the green is kind of overlaid on the body. Almost like armor, but not quite armor. I don't know. It just looks very cool. Tornadus. Yeah, we will rate the genies separately from their Therian forms because the Therian forms are way cooler. The genies themselves are like, I don't know, maybe that's too harsh, but I just don't like how human they are. They're literally just dudes sitting in clouds. I don't like it. Meh. The Therian form for Tornadus, I'd put like up in B. Really cool bird-esque creature. I like the way that it's like, are they tails on the original thing? Like the way the tail is incorporated, it's, that same kind of look and pattern becomes the tail now. That's really cool. Then for Thundurus, this one also probably up here. It is very cool. This one is like less animal-like. I'm not sure exactly what kind of animal it's supposed to be, if anything. But I do like that it does look like a monster now. And then Landorus I'm not as fond of. I know it's like way better than the others in terms of battle, but the design I'm not really into. Reshiram is going to be a B for me. I think that these designs, well, we'll get to Zekrom. I think these designs could have used a little something else. I'm torn because on one hand, I do kind of like that they are all black or all white until their tail lights up, and that's like the splash of color you get is just when the tail is lit. I actually do kind of like that. So I'm not going to hate on the color scheme too much. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I wish there was just like a little more here color-wise. It is just like a completely white dragon. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn there. And then the design itself, I don't know why it has crotch fluff. I know everybody says that, but like, you didn't have to design it like that. I don't know why it has that. Zekrom, I am not as fond of. I think it's the stance, honestly, because the design is cool, but the way it stands is very human to me. And maybe that's just a me thing. I'm curious if anybody else reads it that way. Well, this is a black background, so it's hard to see. But like in its sprite and in the box art cover, something about the way it's standing is super super human, and it's weird to me. Like I want it to be a little more like hunched and dragony, a little bit like Drudagon is, like not that exact pose, but you know what I mean. Like it doesn't look like how a dragon would stand. And then also like the tail I don't like as much as Reshiram's. Yeah, so I never liked Zekrom quite as much as Reshiram. Kyurem is just a mess, dude. This is a fucking disaster of a design. I can see what they're going for, where like it's supposed to be like the hollow nothingness piece that was left behind, so it's supposed to look, I guess, kind of haphazard. I don't even know if that makes sense conceptually, but yeah, it just doesn't really look good as a design. The fusions are a mess, just so over designed. And like that's the point, like it fused multiple things together, so there's a lot going on, but like these look like a mess. Keldeo. Keldeo cool. I enjoy this Pokemon. I honestly think I'd put this up in A. If Terrakion gonna be an A, this one's right up there too. The forms are mostly the same to me, so I don't really think of them as different in terms of where I'd rank them. It's cute. It's a cute little pony Pokemon, cool color scheme. I like how bushy the mane on the head is. Yeah, cool design. Meloetta, too humanoid for me. I do appreciate this form a little bit more. I like the long kind of flowing measure hair. And then I like the fact that the little like, I don't know, thing, the little pin on the side of its head looks like a microphone coming forward. So that's really fun. This one I don't like as much. I just aesthetically don't really, it doesn't deserve to be down here. I was tempted to move it down, but then I looked at these and I'm like, no, it's not that bad. I just don't really like it. Genesect is super cool. Probably here. Really, really cool design. I like that it's purple. Very unique color scheme. And just having a giant fucking futuristic cannon on its back is awesome. Looking at A tier, I think I actually might bump Keldeo down to B. And I'm thinking about it for Terrakion too. I think I actually would move Terrakion down as well. Like again, I talked about why I like these, but just comparing it to the other stuff in the tier, I don't think it quite fits into A. I don't love it that much compared to the ones up here. Otherwise, looks solid. Actually, Stunfisk probably doesn't belong up here. It's funny, but it's not that funny. This does not deserve to stand next to like Darmanitan and Electros. Like, okay, I'll bump this down a little bit, but I still do find it amusing. So yeah, here is my rankings for all of the Gen 5 Pokemon. As always, I would love to hear what your favorites are, what your least favorites are from this region. Do you agree with me that Clink is a shitty design? Do you disagree with me about Vanillite actually being a fun concept? I would just love to hear your thoughts on the Gen 5 Pokemon. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.